What's up, guys? My name is TechnoTuner, and today I'm bringing to you my Centur-ion Invoked deck for Genesys. The deck is a lot of fun for those that love the Centur-ion deck build. They are really interesting, and it's more of a constructed playstyle that I like to play. However, you're more than welcome to edit this as it goes, just so you can get a better feel for the deck or whatever. This deck does have a lot of options to go into fusions or synchros, mainly because with the Invoked engine, you're focusing on fusioning, while the Centur-ion part of the deck, you're focusing on synchros. This deck does focus around a lot of 8 to level 12 synchros, which can help you build out your deck a lot more efficiently. And the fun part about these Centurions are that they treat themselves as continuous traps if you get them in the spell and trap zone for some of their effects. This is something I would recommend that everybody at least check into and try out at least once, because this deck does have a lot of fun combos and it's a lot of fun to play in general. Anyways, let's hop right on into our deck profile where I can show you a little bit more about the deck. Alright, for the main deck, we're going to start off with the Centur-ion engine, where we're playing 3 Centur-ion Primera. While this card is a continuous trap, level 5 or higher Centur-ion monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Centur-ion Primera once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Centur-ion card from your deck to your hand except Centur-ion Primera. Also, you cannot special summon Centur-ion Primera for the rest of this turn. During the main phase, if this card is a continuous trap, you can special summon this card. So, basically, this is our main searcher of the deck and one of our base tuners that can help us get through a lot of combos and further establish our board. This card is really insane because it does allow us to search up anything that we need, from recovery to interaction to another main staple that we can utilize to get more pieces on the board. To follow up the Centur-ion Primera, though, we're playing 3 Centur-ion Trudea. During your main phase, you play this card you control and 1 Centur-ion monster from your hand or deck except Centur-ion Trudea in your spell and trap zones as face-up continuous traps. Also, you cannot special summon Centur-ion Trudea for the rest of this turn. During the main phase, if this card is a continuous trap, you can special summon this card, then you can increase its level by 4. You can only use each effect of Centur-ion Trudea once per turn. So basically, it makes it to where it can modify its levels, but it also gets you the capability of getting another Centur-ion monster, whether it be Trudea or another one, into or onto the board so you can continue your plays. Next up, of course, we're playing a bunch of one-ups, starting off with Centur-ion Chimera. When your opponent activates a monster effect as Chain Link 2 or higher, quick effect, you can make that activated effect become your opponent places 1 Centur-ion monster from their face-up field or graveyard in their spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous trap. Also, you cannot special summon Centur-ion Chimera for the rest of this turn. During the main phase, if this card is a continuous trap, you can special summon this card. You can only use each effect of Centur-ion Chimera once per turn. So, basically, changing some effects can really help us out because it doesn't really negate it. It does basically just change it. It's kind of like the whole thing with U-Bell, where you can change an effect to pop a U-Bell, but in this case, it's changing the effect to make it to where your opponent lets you set or place a Centur-ion monster in the back row as a face-up continuous trap. To continue off with the one-offs for the Centur-ion engine, we're playing 1 Centur-ion MFVI, so I think that's 6 in Roman numerals. During your opponent's turn, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target 1 Centur-ion monster you control except Centur-ion MF6, place it in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous trap, and if you do, special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon Centur-ion MF6 for the rest of this turn. During the main phase, if this card is a continuous trap, you can special summon this card. You can only use each effect of Centur-ion MF6 once per turn. So, outside being able to be placed in the back row, it does allow it to be placed there if it's in your hand or graveyard as a quick effect, which can help out as well. Next up, Centur-ion Gargoyle 2. You can send 1 face-up Centur-ion card you control to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon Centur-ion Gargoyle 2 for the rest of this turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a synchro material, you can add this card to your hand. During the main phase, if this card is a continuous trap, you can special summon this card. Then you can reduce its level by 4. You can only use each effect of Centurion Gargoyle 2 once per turn. So once again, another level 8 body, but it can recur itself for becoming a actual synchro material. Then the final Centurion monster we play is one Centur-ion Autry. If this card you control would be used as synchro material, you could treat it as a non-tuner. You can only use each of the following effects of Centur-ion Autry once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, and you have both an emblem card and a Centurion card in your graveyard, you can draw one card. Also, you cannot special summon Centur-ion Autry for the rest of this turn. During the main phase, if this is a continuous trap, you can special summon this card. So, outside of that, Centur-ion Autry makes another additional good level 4 that you can really utilize to continue your combos and plays. But, of course, that's not all the monsters we're playing, but that is all the monsters we're playing for the Centur-ion package. Feel free to modify these at anything that you would like to do. I've seen where some people cut Chimera completely and run 2 Gargoyle or run an additional Autry. There's a lot of capabilities here where you can do a lot of engine modification. Next up, I play 3 Alistair the Invoker. Quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one fusion monster you control. It gains 1000 attack and defense until the end of this turn. If this card is normal summoned or flip face up, you can add 1 invocation from your deck to your hand. So do note that this does require your normal summon, which is perfectly fine because we can special summon these Centur-ion monsters pretty easily as long as we have a field spell or a way to get them onto the board. Now for the little bit of spice on the engine that I like to play, it's 3 of the Golden Sword Soul. When a monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you do, negate the attack, and if you control a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz as material, you can destroy that monster that declared the attack. If a monster is banished face up, except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard, special summon light spellcaster from your hand or graveyard, whose attack equals its own defense. You can only use this effect of the Golden Sword Soul once per turn. So, the fun part is we're basically using as attack negation, not destruction. And if a face-up card we control is, if a monster is banished face-up, we can get Centur-ion Primera or our next card onto the board, which is the Iris Sword Soul, which we're playing 2 copies of. During the main phase, if a monster whose effects are negated is on the field, quick effect. You can special summon this card from your hand. If your opponent special summons a monster except during the damage step, you can activate one of these effects based on where it was special summoned from. Hand, special summon one monster from your hand. Deck, draw 2 cards. Extra deck, destroy one of those monsters, special summon from the extra deck. You can only use each effect of the Iris Sword Soul once per turn. So, in combination with the Golden Sword Soul and the Centur-ion package, being a level 8 monster allows us to go into our level 12s, or being able to really utilize the capabilities here to either special summon a monster we want onto the board, or really draw 2 or pop one of the extra deck monsters we don't want our opponent to have. So, that really does help us out a lot as well, especially with a lot of extra deck interactions that we may not be able to really work with going first. Or going second, I should say. Up next, for the hand traps, we're playing 3 Ghost Ogre, 3 Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill, and 2 Nibiru. I do run a lighter hand trap package for this deck. Do note you can actually cut this entire hand trap package and run more spells and traps that really interact with your Centurions or Invoked monsters, so you can get some further interaction. You can implement a branded engine if you're trying to go to another kind of level, whether it be fusing with Albaz, running 3 Albaz, 2 Cartesia, whatever. Because right now, these cards are just here to deal with problematic cards for the Genesys format. But that's all that I'm running for the actual hand traps of the deck. Let's hop right on into the spells. Alright, so for the spells, we're playing 3 Stand Up Centur-ion. Cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card's effects while you control a Centur-ion monster card. You can only use each of the following effects of Stand Up Centur-ion once per turn. During your main phase, if this card was activated this turn, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, place 1 Centur-ion monster from your deck in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous trap. If a monster is special summoned, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, synchro summon 1 synchro monster using monsters you control as material, including a Centur-ion monster. So this is basically going to be the main way that we get the Centurion monsters onto the board outside of normal summoning them, or really special summoning them from other effects. The other thing is the send one card can help with any dead cards that you have in hand to get them into the grave, so you can further interact by setting a Tridea or a Primera in your back row. Next up, we play 3 Emblema Oath. Place 1 Centurion, so you can activate one of these effects. Place 1 Centurion monster from your deck in your spell and trap zone as a continuous trap. For the rest of this turn, while you control that card or any card with that same original name, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except Centurion monsters. You can set 1 Centurion spell or trap directly from your deck. You can only activate 1 Emblema Oath once per turn. So, this basically allows us to either place a monster, which we can utilize to go into our Centurion plays, or we can place a recovery spell or trap that we can really interact with for our opponent during our next turn, or just as a continuation for this turn. Next up, I do play 2 Centur-ion bonds, or Centurion bonds. Allows you to place 1 Centurion monster from your hand or graveyard in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous trap. If a Centurion Synchro monster is special summoned to your field, while this card is in your graveyard except during the damage step, you can banish this card, then target 1 Centurion monster in your graveyard, place in your spell and trap zone as a continuous trap. You can only use each effect of Centurion bonds once per turn. So this is just a great way to recover your Primeras, your Autries, basically all the tuners that you need to utilize, or other key combo pieces that you really want to utilize. Next up, we're playing 2 Wake Up Centurion. If a monster card is face up in your spell and trap zone, you can declare a level 4 or 8. Special summon 1 Centurion token, Pyro, Dark, Attack 0, Defense 0. With the declared level, but it cannot be used as fusion or link material. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, send 1 Centurion card from your deck to the graveyard, except Wake Up Centurion. You can only use each effect of Wake Up Centurion once per turn. So outside of getting a token, we can actually utilize this card for further recovery by being able to send MF6 or a Bonds to our graveyard so we can further our plays. Then, of course, we're playing the 1 Emblema Salvation. You can banish 1 face-up Centurion monster card from your spell and trap zone, then target 1 card your opponent controls and banish it. If this set card and its owner's control is destroyed or banished by an opponent's activated effect, you can place 2 Centurion monsters with different names from your hand, deck, graveyard, and or banishment in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous traps. You can only activate 1 Emblema Salvation per turn. So this also offers some interaction, but some good recovery as well from whether we get to banish a card or if it's destroyed, we can basically place 2 Centurion cards in our back row so we can synchro during our opponent's turn or really just interact. For the rest of the spells, we're playing 1 Magical Meltdown and 2 Invocation, but let's start off with the Magical Meltdown. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Alistair the Invoker from your deck to your hand. The activation of your cards and effects that include the effect that fusion summon a fusion monster cannot be negated. Also, your opponent's cards and effects cannot activate when a monster is fusion summoned this way. You can only activate 1 Magical Meltdown per turn. Now, if you want to really change this ratio with Stand Up Centurion and Magical Meltdown to a 2-2, or however you see fit, you can do so to better fit your playstyle. And then, of course, like I said, we're playing the 2 Invocation. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand as fusion material. If summoning an invoked fusion monster this way, you can also banish monsters from your field and or either player's graveyard as fusion material. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 of your banished Alistair the Invoker, shuffle this card into the deck, and if you do, add that monster to your hand. You can only use this effect of Invocation once per turn. So this is how we're going to also get the Centurion Bonds other effect, because we're going to be banishing the Alistair the Invoker to really activate our Centurion Bonds, because we have a banished monster face up. And then we can banish this card, target 1 of our Centurion monsters that we want in our graveyard, and place it in our spell and trap zone as a continuous trap, which can further help us out. But that's all for the spells. For the traps, I do play 2. I play 1 Centurion Phalanx and 1 Centurion Awakening. Now, Centurion Phalanx actually has the effect to target 1 face-up monster on the field. Banish it, and if you do during the standby phase of the next turn, special summon that banished monster to its owner's field. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Centur-ion Synchro monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but it loses 1500 attack. You can only use one Centur-ion Phalanx effect per turn and only once that turn. So we don't really have to worry about the attack loss because we're more likely going to utilize that Centur-ion Synchro monster as another material to rank up, or well, not rank up, but synchro up into a bigger one. Centur-ion True Awakening. When a spell or trap or monster effect is activated, send one face-up monster card from your spell and trap zone to the graveyard and negate the activation. And if you do destroy that card, you can only activate one Centur-ion True Awakening per turn. So that can help out a lot as well, because this gives you an Omni Negate if you really want to utilize it, given that you have a Centur-ion monster in your back row. But that's all that I have for the actual main deck. Let's hop on in to our extra deck. All right, for our extra deck, we're playing one Ios, the Magistus Spell Spirit, one Magistus monster plus one Spellcaster monster. While this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster gains 1000 attack and defense. During the main phase, quick effect, you can target one other face-up monster on the field, equip this card you control to it. If this card was equipped to an opponent's monster, by this effect, you can take control of the equipped monster. Also, it cannot activate its effects. You can only use this effect of Ios, the Magistus Spell Spirit, once per turn, which we don't usually utilize, but we have the option once we get further in, and I'll explain more. Next up, we play one Invoked Agoides, which requires one Alistair the Invoker plus one Fusion monster. If this card is special summoned, or a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use this effect of Invoked Agoides once per turn. Once per turn, you can banish one Fusion monster from your graveyard. This card gains attack equal to that banished monster's attack until the end of your opponent's turn. So outside of an interactable pop, it can become really big. Next up, we have two Invoked Mechaba. Once per turn, when a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, quick effect, you can send the same type of card, monster, spell, or trap, from your hand to the graveyard and negate that activation, and if you do, banish that card. This is basically our Nibiru-proof option, or interactable hand traps that we don't really want to deal with, but if we have a spell, this also could protect us from Raigeki or Harpy's Feather Duster. Next up, we have Snake Eyes Doom Dragon. One Snake Eye monster plus one Illusion monster. We're not going to be summoning it that way, but must be either Fusion Summon or Special Summon by sending two face-up monster cards from your spell and trap zone to the graveyard, which we can do by sending two Centurions. If this card is Special Summon, you can target one face-up monster on the field, place it face up in its owner's spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. You can only use this effect of Snake Eyes Doom Dragon once per turn, so it can help out a lot by getting rid of some really problematic cards on the board. As for the synchros, let's start it off. Varum, the Magistus Divinity Dragon. While this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by opponent's spell and trap effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Varum, the Magistus Divinity Dragon, once per turn. If this synchro summon card is destroyed, you can destroy all face-up cards your opponent controls. At the start of the damage step, if the monster this card is equipped to battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that opponent's monster. So this is basically just good board clear. It's a level 8, and it can help you out with some further plays if you need to. The upgrade form of that, Zorua, the Magistus Conflagrant Calamity. One spellcaster tuner plus one or more non-tuner monsters. If this card is synchro summoned, you can target, or you can equip one Magistus monster from your extra deck to this card. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters with the same card type, Fusion, Synchro, Exceeds, or Link, as a Magistus monster card in your spell and trap zone. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Magistus card you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon this card. You can only use this effect of Zorua, the Magistus Conflagrant Calamity, once per turn. So, basically, if you have Varum on the board, and you have Zorua in the graveyard, you can activate Zorua's effect, target Varum, destroy Varum, and summon this back, and then Varum destroys all face-up cards your opponent controls. So it's basically a mini board wipe. Next up, we have one Chaos Archfiend, one Light Tuner, one or more non-tuner Dark monsters, which we can do from time to time because we do have a Dark Pyro, which is Trudea, if I remember correctly. Yep. All right. If any card has been banished this turn, This card gains 2,000 attack. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Also banish any monster destroyed by battle with this card. If this card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon one Chaos Synchro monster from your extra deck, except Chaos Archfiend. You can only use this effect of Chaos Archfiend once per turn. So, we don't run anything for recovery on that, such as Chaos Angel or anything like that, but you're more than welcome to do so if you'd like to modify the deck a bit. Centur-ion Primera Primus. We're running 2 of her. Cannot be destroyed by battle unless it was special summoned from the extra deck. You can only use each of the following effects of Centur-ion Primera Primus once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, you can add one emblem card from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and you can destroy 2 cards, one on each field. If a face-up Centur-ion card or cards you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, all those cards in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. Alright. Next up, we're running 2 Centur-ion Legatia. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. Your monsters with 2,000 or less attack cannot be destroyed by battle. You can only use each of the following effects of Centur-ion Legatia once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can draw 1 card, then you can destroy the monster your opponent controls with the highest attack, your choice of tide. During the end phase, you can place 1 non-synchro Centur-ion monster from your hand or graveyard in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous trap. So, that allows you to actually get a little extra extension as well, while being able to get a draw and a pop of a monster. Then, of course, the one main monster that costs 33 points for some reason is Centur-ion Auxilia. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. Face-up cards in your spell and trap zone cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Centur-ion Auxilia once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can add 1 Centur-ion card from your deck to your hand. During the end phase, you can place 1 of your non-synchro Centur-ion monsters that is banished in your graveyard in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous trap. So, this card gives you extra protection, but allows you to place your resources efficiently, and allows you for further play during your opponent's turn. Then, of course, we're playing the 1 Despian Luluwalith. 1 level 4 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. Once per turn, if a card or cards leave the extra deck, except during the damage step, you can make all monsters you currently control gain 500 attack permanently, then negate the effects of 1 face-up card on the field until the end of this turn. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can special summon 1 light spellcaster from your hand or deck whose attack equals its own defense. You can only use this effect of Despian Luluwalith once per turn. So, outside of being able to really revive either Centur-ion Primera, I think the Golden Sword Soul as well. Actually, no, Golden Sword Soul has 1,800 and 1,500. So you can do Centur-ion Primera or the Iris Sword Soul, which can help out a lot. Then we have our 1 Xyz monster, which we don't really Xyz summon because it's not that great, but we usually equip it to Zorora so we can get some extra effects. While this card is an equip card, the equipped monster can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. You can only use each of the following effects of Ninaru, the Magistus Glass Goddess, once per turn. You can attach 1 material from this card, then target 1 level 4 or higher spellcaster monster in your graveyard. Add it to your hand. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can target 1 Magistus card in your spell and trap zone, and 1 spell and trap card your opponent controls, and destroy them. So, this card can make it very effective for popping cards if you need to, but also giving you the capability of getting some recovery back as well, if you do Xyz into it. Just note that it would take probably your Centur-ion Primera and Alistair Invoker, or if you have multiple spellcaster level 4s on the board, to make it. But either way, that's the extra deck for this deck. It's a lot of fun to play overall. I haven't played competitively with it, but I've played with friends, and it's been very interesting. I do miss the times in which I get to really just go through and do a lot of synchro plays, which this deck does give me a lot of options to do so. It really revolutionized how synchros can work and make actual competitive status for a Centur-ion deck a while back, earlier in 2024 or 2023. Either way, guys, I hope you really enjoyed today's deck profile. If